Okay, guys, I'm here for episode 18 of Revisiting the Rumble, the review series where I revisit every Royal Rumble from 1988 till 2014. Today's episode, we deal with the Royal Rumble from 2005. Not as good as the Royal Rumble from 2004. In fact, it's but there are 5 matches on this show, 4 on the undercard and the Royal Rumble, so its total star rating is a 25 maximum star rating. This took place on January the 30th, 2005 from the Save Mart Center in Fresno, California. We open with Shawn Michaels versus Edge. This is one of the better matches on the undercard. Had a bit of a story going back to October of 2004 when at Taboo Tuesday the fans picked Shawn Michaels to enter to get a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship, which made Edge mad, and Edge has been feuding with Michaels ever since then. So this is kind of the culmination of that. Like I said, it's an okay match. It's one of the better matches. It's a back and forth match. Eventually, though, Edge rolls Michaels up and uses the ropes, and that's how he wins. So, yeah, 3 stars, good match. So then we get what I believe is only the 3rd casket match in the Royal Rumble history, and I think to date the final casket match in the history of the Royal Rumble. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's been another casket match at the Royal Rumble anyway, since this one. As it's the Undertaker versus Heidenreich. Yeah, this was the culmination of their feud that started back in No Mercy and went through Survivor Series. It was supposed to go into WrestleMania, but I'll get into that a little bit more into this. So, it's The Undertaker versus Heidenreich. It's a 1-star match because it's got a original spot, which is Undertaker uses the leg drop off the apron, but he does it onto the casket's lid with Heidenreich there. There's interference from Snitsky in this match, and then Kane interferes inside the casket. Now, what this was going to originally set up was a tag match at WrestleMania 21. Undertaker and Kane versus Heidenreich and Snitsky, but the WWE went away from that idea, which is probably better, because you got a much better match between Undertaker and Randy Orton out of that. So it was probably better that the WWE backed away from the Undertaker and Kane versus Snitsky and Heidenreich thing. And really, after a choke slam and a tombstone, Undertaker puts Heidenreich in the casket, closes the lid, wins the match. Which, he's been in all 3 casket matches at the Royal Rumble, and he won 1 of the 3. Because he lost Yokozuna in 94, and he lost to Michaels in 98. So, 1 star. So then we get the triple threat match for the WWE Championship. JBL versus The Big Show versus Kurt Angle. And the story of this match is left off the pay-per-view. But here, all 3 of these guys had some sort of thing going. Kurt Angle, of course, had the new team angle of him, Luther Reigns, and Mart Jindrak, although less effective and not as good. Whereas JBL had his cabinet with, Chief of Staff Orlando Jordan, Secretary of Defense, Co-Secretary of Defense of Bashams, and so on and so forth. And Big Show was in this thing with Joy Giovanni, and all 3 of them messed with the other side of the cabinet with a plan of theirs. And eventually on the SmackDown before this, Kurt Angle and JBL had a last man standing match, in which they both went to a draw, so it made Big Show the favorite going into the match. Big Show's taken out early a little bit when he goes through the announce table with the, after being hit with a television monitor. And then JBL and Angle have a small match. Big Show comes back, then he spears JBL through the timekeeper's area. So Angle, and Big Show's about to win the title when Reigns and Jindrak pull out the referee. So Big Show fights with them. The Bashams help out, and then Orlando Jordan throws JBL in the ring, and then JBL hits the clothesline from hell and wins the match, and retains the WWE Championship. 1.5 stars. This was a traditional JBL Championship match. None of them were that great, and he held the title from June of 2004 until WrestleMania 21. So, 1.5 stars. So then we get probably the second match on this card that's any good. And it's the World Heavyweight Championship match. Triple H versus Randy Orton. And what is essentially their blow-off feud. Now, what they were going with that they did, it was done much better with the eventual winner of the Royal Rumble. But Orton has his legs wrapped because of a attack that Evolution had done on Raw beforehand. That comes into play. Triple H puts moves on like a figure four and whatnot, and all that. Orton eventually goes for a DDT, but Triple H counters it, and he hits his head on the ring apron, and Randy Orton sells it like he doesn't know where he's at. And he may not have, I don't know. But it's a good story aspect of the match. There's a ref bump eventually, because the referee, instead of just counting Orton out, tells Orton to get into the ring or he'd count him out. Don't know why he just doesn't count him out, but whatever. Triple H then gets the sledgehammer. Orton gets a sledgehammer. Triple H clotheslines down. And as he's about to use it on Orton, the referee gets up, so Triple H tosses the sledgehammer out. And then Triple H hits the pedigree, gets the 1, 2, 3, retains the world title, would go on to WrestleMania to face the winner of the Royal Rumble. And that brings us to the 2005 Royal Rumble match. Now, before I want to talk about the Royal matches, there was a funny scene earlier in the night in which Eddie Guerrero and Ric Flair are drawing their numbers. Flair's excited about his number, Eddie's not. So Eddie steals Ric Flair's number. And Flair got it back later. He also stole his wallet too, but that had no real bearing on the fact he just stole his number. But the reason why Eddie was so upset is he happens to be number 1 in this Rumble. The first two guys starting this Rumble are number 1 and number 2. I'm not going to go over every individual entrant. That, of course, will be in the description box, per usual, which will be down there. Along with the most eliminations and the longest lasting superstar in the ring. So, 1 and 2, as I said, Eddie Guerrero. And number 3, I'm going to talk about because it's a rather humorous thing of the Royal Rumble. As number 3 is Daniel Puder, the winner of the $1 million Tough Enough. Which all the $1 million Tough Enough did was produce The Miz, who actually is arguably the most successful Tough Enough champion, Tough Enough contestant in the history of the WWE since they started that. Because the female winner of Tough Enough hasn't even made her in-ring debut yet. She's going on Total Divas of the past year's Tough Enough. So, but Puder gets on the mic. He says he's going to be the first Tough Enough winner to win the Royal Rumble. And what happens? He essentially is chopped all over the place by Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and the next entrant, Hardcore Holly. And then he gets eliminated. And that was the highlight of Daniel Puder's WWE career. That and he almost legitimately broke Kurt Angle's arm with a Kimura lock before he got this, but that's the highlight of Daniel Puder's official WWE career, is this small little Royal Rumble appearance. He got released right after this, so, yeah. Ironically, even though he's not a notable, Jonathan Coachman is in this Royal Rumble. So, yeah, if you thought that Michael Cole was the first announcer ever to be in a Royal Rumble, no, actually, Jonathan Coachman was in 2005. And he does the Road Dogg strategy from 2000 where he goes and basically hugs the corner like he's in the fetal position. He does that here. The final 4 in this Rumble are Edge, Batista, John Cena, and Rey Mysterio. Mysterio's the first one on the final 4 eliminated. Then Edge is. Comes out Cena, Batista. And then we get the infamous finish of this match that actually was a botch. It was not even supposed to happen. Cena and Batista were not supposed to go over the top rope together. Batista was just supposed to Batista bomb Cena and then eliminate Cena. With the way Cena positioned his weight for the Batista bomb, it knocked Batista back into the ropes and they both went out. So Vince McMahon then came in, and this is where Vince tore both his quads at the same time, sliding into the ring. He restarted the match with Cena Batista. Batista's spinebuster Cena froze him out, wins the 2005 Royal Rumble, would go on to beat Triple H at WrestleMania. And what Triple H did for Batista is what they could have done with Randy Orton, but they did it better. Because the turn of Batista was a very slow burn. That had started at New Year's Revolution and went into here and then finally in WrestleMania. And Triple H never beat Batista in their 3 matches. So, in fact, I don't think he ever beat Batista, because I think after their 3 matches in 2005, they never had another match. I could be wrong, against each other anyway. Could be wrong, though, but I know And so that really helped Batista and elevate himself. So the Royal Rumble match itself was 2.5 stars, so this show gets 11.5 out of 25, which makes it a very high D+. Like I said, not as good as 2004, and it doesn't have the memorable moment that 2006 has, which I'll get to tomorrow. So this will be in the Revisiting Rumble playlist. If you like the video, like button's down there, subscribe button's down there, and thank you for watching. Bye.